Do you ever wonder what hidden dynamics exist within a family, simmering beneath the surface, waiting to upend what seems ordinary? Let me introduce you to such a tale, one where loyalty was tested and unexpected turns revealed hidden truths. Meet Amelia, a spirited 26-year-old woman who found herself entangled in a family web as complex as it was unwelcome. She was married to Tom, a kind and understanding 29-year-old chap, and together they had built 3 years of a blissful marriage. Behind closed doors, however, lay a storm only Amelia could see coming. Amelia always felt a certain chill from Tom's family, a chill that lingered despite the warmth she fervently offered. His family, comprising his twin sisters, Lily and Rose, both 23, and their younger brother, Finn, aged 21, were not exactly forthcoming in their warmth. Then there was the formidable matriarch herself, Mrs. Duval, Tom's mother, who seemed to lead the brigade against Amelia with a subtle yet palpable distaste. Now, Amelia was never one to shy away from a challenge, and loving Tom meant embracing his family, quirks and all. Yet, their cold demeanor puzzled her. In her heart, she knew she had tried. Birthdays, holidays, and those family gatherings most people dread, she was there, ever smiling, often deliberately overlooking the prickly welcome she received. The air turned sharper one particular fall when Mrs. Duval's 50th birthday loomed on the horizon. Despite the chilly reception from his family, Amelia saw this as a golden opportunity. A chance perhaps to mend things, to bring warmth where there was only frost. Enthusiastically, she took the reins, aiming to orchestrate a celebration worthy of the milestone. Excitement flared within Amelia as she poured her heart into every detail. The guest list was meticulously crafted, a lavish venue secured, and the menu, a masterpiece of flavors. She even engaged a renowned band to ensure the night would echo with both laughter and music. With Tom by her side, she believed she was on the brink of something monumental. And yet, even in the best-laid plans, uncertainty can lurk. As the date approached, Amelia couldn't shake off a lingering doubt. Could this celebration thaw the icy barricade built around her? Would her efforts finally earn her a place within the Duval family circle? The answer came as an unexpected turn of events, a twist that would etch itself into the story of Amelia's life. Unbeknownst to the siblings, their mother had made a decision that would ripple through the family and unravel the very fabric of patience and goodwill woven by Amelia. Was it jealousy, misunderstanding, or something more profound that prompted Mrs. Duval's decree? Regardless, it left Amelia heartbroken and bewildered. Yet, she knew she couldn't let this moment define her, not without a fight. So there she stood, facing an unexpected storm, realizing that perhaps the party wasn't the only thing that needed cancelling. But little did she know, this cancelled celebration was just the beginning of unveiling deeper truths within the family tapestry that surrounded her beloved husband. Thus begins the saga of a woman determined to navigate the complexities of family, loyalty, and love. Captivating, isn't it? In a tale of social alliances and emotional intrigue, stay tuned as Amelia unravels the intricacies of this familial puzzle, one revelation at a time. Title: The Unforeseen Turn of Events. As the day of Linda's 50th birthday approached, I found myself juggling emotions that had been simmering beneath the surface for a long time. It was mid-May, 2023, and my husband Jake and I were preparing to host a lavish birthday bash. I'd poured my heart and soul, not to mention a good chunk of savings, into ensuring this would be a milestone celebration for my mother-in-law. Yet, despite my efforts, the tension between me and my husband's family had reached an all-time high. Ever since Jake and I said our vows 3 years ago, his family had been a challenging presence in my life. His twin sisters, Clara and Cara, who were both 23, often exchanged glances and whispers whenever I was around, while his younger brother Liam didn't try to hide his disdain. Linda, my mother-in-law, seemed to be the leader of the pack, her disapproval ever present even when veiling it beneath a polite smile at family gatherings. Knowing how much Linda cherished her birthdays, I had taken it upon myself to plan her party. It was to be a grand affair, held at the elegant Crystal Hall, a venue renowned for its beautiful architecture and stunning views of the city skyline. The date was set for May 28th, and I was determined to ensure every detail was perfect. From the floral arrangements to the gourmet menu, I left no stone unturned. Invitations printed on gold foil stationery had been mailed to her closest friends and family. I even went as far as arranging a surprise performance by a popular jazz band Linda adored. All of this, I hoped, would melt the icy demeanor of my husband's family toward me. The closer we got to the big day, the more palpable the anticipation and anxiety became. Jake was unwavering in his support, often reassuring me that everything would work out just fine. "They'll eventually come around, Sarah," he'd say, his words anchored with optimism. I clung to his reassurances, secretly hoping this party would be a turning point for my relationship with his family. A week before the party, however, something unexpected happened. I received a phone call from Linda. Her voice sounded unusually tense, and as we spoke, it became clear that something had changed. "Sarah, I've been thinking," Linda began, pausing as though searching for the right words. "Perhaps it's best if you don't come to the party after all." I was taken aback. "Why?" I asked softly, trying to keep my voice steady. "I just think it'll be better for everyone, especially me," she continued. Her words cut deep, like cold shards of ice piercing through the warmth of my hopeful intentions. "But everything's already arranged," I protested, trying to mask the hurt that was threatening to spill through my tone. "I've arranged everything for you." Linda sighed, a sound that resonated with finality. "I appreciate your efforts, but this is my decision. I'm sure you'll understand." Understanding was the last thing I felt as I hung up, my mind reeling from the conversation. In one swift move, all of my plans, energy, and hopes were dashed. Not wanting to escalate the situation with my presence, I reluctantly obliged and began the process of cancelling everything I'd worked so hard to put in place. Each cancellation was like a painful reminder of the chasm that seemed unbridgeable between me and Jake's family. My phone calls to the Crystal Hall, the florist, and the band were brief, my voice laced with quiet resignation as I informed them of the change in plans. Yet, deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling of injustice. I'd done everything by the book, only to be denied entry to an event I'd created. Certainly. Here is the continuation, focusing on delving deeper into the situation and emotions. Unfalteringly, I endeavored to mend the invisible rift, extend olive branches, and find common ground with my husband Ethan's family. However, every attempt seemed to fall into an abyss of indifference. The emotional distance was profoundly disheartening, yet I held hope that time and patience could bridge the growing divide. Ethan, my steadfast partner, stood resolute beside me. He understood the delicate tangle of familial bonds and the perplexing coldness from his kin. His support was unwavering, assuring me that together, we would navigate the complexities presented by his family. Despite the external challenges, our relationship thrived, fortified by mutual trust and understanding. So, when the milestone of Miranda's 50th birthday approached, perhaps foolishly, I seized the opportunity to finally cross the familial chasm. Miranda, Ethan's mother, was a woman of presence and tradition, and I envisioned a celebration befitting her stature. My intention was simple yet grand, to craft a gathering that resonated with warmth and unity, a gesture not just of goodwill, but of genuine care and respect. Anticipation turned into action as I meticulously orchestrated the details. A picturesque venue, a menu curated to her taste, and decorations that embodied elegance and grace. Yet, what filled me with the truest sense of joy was the thought of Miranda being surrounded by her cherished ones, basking in the celebration of her vibrant life. My heart, albeit cautiously, brimmed with optimism. The celebration could serve as the harmonic melody soothing the discordant notes in our relationship. Yet, this optimistic vision faced stark reality when the family, true to form, displayed a lack of interest, leaving the entire burden of the event upon my shoulders. Ethan, though supportive, was unable to sway the nonchalance of his siblings and mother. Nevertheless, I pressed on with the preparations, envisioning the day as a turning point. I painted a hopeful picture, where laughter replaced silence and acceptance replaced hesitation. But just when the gap seemed to be narrowing, a sharp turn of events unraveled the threads of my carefully woven efforts. On the eve of the celebration, a sudden call from Miranda transformed the narrative. Her words were clipped and void of emotion as she informed me of my unwelcomed presence at the event. The surprise smothered me like a dampening mist, a bewildering punctuation to the sacrifices made. Confused and pained, I sought understanding. Why would she reject this gesture? The question loomed like a shadow over the preparations. Yet, faced with no answers, I made the painstaking decision to pause the unfolding celebration. Everything I had poured my heart into was put on hold. The venue, the arrangements, everything. The cease of my efforts felt both an act of self-preservation and respect for Miranda's wishes. Ethan, caught in the crossfire of loyalty and love, consoled me, recognizing the tumultuous whirl of emotions within. His empathy served as a balm to my raw feelings, and together we dismantled the dream we had built for his mother. This episode became a pivotal point, an unraveling of hidden truths and unspoken tensions. I realized that despite the exhaustion from trying to belong, my worth was not defined by others' acceptance but rather the integrity of my intentions. It reminded me that sometimes reaching out does not always result in reciprocation, and that is a part of the complex tapestry of human connections. The experience etched a crucial lesson into my journey. While the path to acceptance is fraught with challenges, it is the unwavering self-respect and the bonds that matter most, those formed on mutual trust, compassion, and genuine concern. In the end, it's not the external validation but the internal harmony that dictates peace. Thus, I emerged with clarity, reaffirming that while the celebration didn't come to fruition, I had tried and acted with a genuine heart. Though the distance remained, the experience fortified my belief in my resilience and the strength of the unyielding bond one share with Ethan. The journey might be unpredictable, but armed with love and understanding, I faced it with renewed courage. Note: subsequent parts to this story will delve deeper into the implications of these events and any forward steps taken. Please let me know if you need more. I'm happy to help you craft an exciting continuation for your story. Here is the fourth part of the tale, woven with intrigue and emotion. Aurora felt a knot of frustration clenched tightly in her stomach. She had always sensed a certain animosity hanging thick in the air whenever she visited her husband Ethan's family. Yet, despite her best efforts to bridge the gap, she found herself standing on the periphery of their tight-knit circle. The somber realization that she now resided at the epicenter of family disputes gnawed at her optimism. Following the abrupt cancellation of her mother-in-law Patricia's 50th birthday bash, an event Aurora had meticulously planned, life at home felt tense. Her heart weighed heavy with a cocktail of resentment and bewilderment. How had she ended up, once again, being the pariah among people she longed to love and be loved by? The twins, Hazel and Ivy, bared their disdain through both subtle scoffs and overt gestures. Aurora had hoped time would mellow their judgment, interpreting their earlier resistance as a mere byproduct of her marrying their oldest brother. But the calendar days made no difference. If anything, their animosity had only become more entrenched, moving in synchronized perfection, an unspoken agreement between them. Their younger brother Miles mirrored this sentiment, perhaps taking cues from his sisters, or perhaps fueling his own discontent for reasons Aurora could not decipher. As Ethan sat beside her on the couch, she stole a glance at him, his familiar profile a comforting silhouette in the twilight. Ethan was Aurora's rock, her confident anchor amidst this swirling storm. Yet, lately, it seemed even he was unsure about how best to navigate the turbulent seas. "They don't see you, Aurora," he finally said, breaking the silence that had stretched like a thick shroud between them for hours since the call with his mother had ended. His voice was tinged with a deep melancholy, further illuminating the chasm between his family and the woman he adored. Aurora sighed heavily, looked out through the ornate French windows to the garden beyond, and found herself swimming in a whirlpool of emotions. Hatred. No, that wasn't the right word. It stung less than hatred, but its ubiquity was impossible to ignore. Apathy seemed more fitting, a kind that froze the human spirit. "I just wish I knew what I'd done," Aurora confessed. The sentiment felt exhausting, worn from repetition. It was like picking through a puzzle blindfolded, where the pieces were elusive and their shapes undefined. Ethan wrapped an arm around her, pulling her close, the gesture firm with promises of unwavering support. "I wish I had answers for you. Sometimes family logic just defies the rational," he mused, running his fingers through her hair in a motion both soothing and protective. Returning to thoughts of the party, Aurora replayed the meticulous arrangements she had made. Hours spent selecting menus, crafting playlists to span Patricia's life decades. This wasn't just a party for a mother-in-law, it was to be an embodiment of warmth, laughter, and togetherness, a chance to stand on common ground. Maybe it's not what you did. Maybe it's what they never tried to understand, Ethan speculated softly. A part of Aurora nodded inwardly, recognizing the steady wall of resistance she had encountered, a barrier that even goodwill and compassion seemed unable to breach. Aurora stole another glance at Ethan, searching for any sign of doubt in his resolve. But his hazel eyes held only love, bright and unwavering amidst the shadows creeping around them. His love was her shield, an enduring ember against the chill of familial discord, the ultimate reminder that they would face any challenge hand in hand. "Ethan," she whispered, her resolve infused with newfound strength, "I can't live under that cloud forever. We need to find a way to stand above their issues, without letting it pull us down." Ethan nodded, his gaze locked onto hers. "I know. And I promise, we'll do it together. They might be our family, but that doesn't mean they define us." That night, as moonlight pooled in gentle waves across their room, Aurora drifted into sleep cradled by hope. Though the path forward remained shadowed, the determination to create a life defined not by past grievances but by the choices they made together carried her through. For where love existed openly, there was always room for new beginnings. To ensure the story is captivating and follows the requested structure, the fifth part of the narrative continues with unfolding events, adding depth and excitement. However, crafting an entirely new and original story segment within 700 to 800 words requires a separate narrative. Here is an imagined continuation with new elements and characters. Sebastian's phone buzzed on the nightstand, waking him from a deep sleep. He reached over, squinting at the screen, and saw an incoming call from his sister, Claire. Rolling out of bed carefully, trying not to disturb his wife, Isla, he took the call in the hallway. "What's up, Claire?" he muttered, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. "It's about Mom." Claire's voice broke on the other end. "She texted everyone last night saying she's cancelling her birthday party." Sebastian let out a long sigh, his mind racing back to the strenuous planning Isla had undertaken to make their mother-in-law's birthday a special occasion. "Did she say why?" "Something about wanting some peace and quiet," Claire replied, her tone incredulous. "But there's got to be more to it. You know her." Thinking back to the conversation with Isla the day before, Sebastian recalled the excitement in her eyes when she finalized the last detail with the caterer. Isla had pushed herself hard to ensure things were perfect. It seemed unfathomable that all her hard work could be undone just like that. As he walked downstairs to make himself some coffee, he heard the unmistakable sound of chatter and laughter. From the kitchen emerged his two younger brothers, Oliver and Jack, still dressed in their pajamas. Clearly, news travels fast in their family. "Did you hear about Mom's party getting canned?" Jack asked, an eyebrow raised. Oliver leaned back in a chair, watching with a knowing smile. "Claire's predicting a storm." Sebastian nodded, handing them mugs and waving his own as if it were a peace flag. "Yeah, this is going to make waves." Isla poured her heart into that party planning. "Do you think it's about Isla?" Oliver ventured cautiously, his smile fading. "You know how things are between Mom and her." "Maybe," Sebastian said, his voice trailing off. His mind was preoccupied with finding a way to mend things. But calling it off without giving Isla a chance to make things right doesn't sit well. The trio fell into silence, each grappling with their thoughts on how to navigate the escalating family drama. Sebastian sipped his coffee, contemplating whether to wake Isla with the news or let her sleep a bit more. He decided on the latter, knowing she needed her rest. As the morning sun crept into the house, illuminating the chaos of kitchen clutter and the debates of the brothers, Sebastian knew the day's focus, unraveling the enigma surrounding their mother. Meanwhile, his thoughts wandered to Isla's face when she heard of the party's cancellation. Her disappointment and quiet resilience would only fuel his resolve to address the situation head-on. Once everyone was finally awake, including Isla, Sebastian gathered his family around the kitchen table, something he often did to form a unified plan. Eyes turned to Isla, reflecting a mixture of sympathy and encouragement. "Listen, Isla," Sebastian began, taking her hand gently. I think it's time we visit Mom. Talk to her directly and see where things went sideways. You did an incredible job organizing everything, and the least we can do is get some answers. Isla nodded, her lips pressed into a determined line. Let's do it. But promise we won't push too hard. There might be more under the surface. With that, Isla and Sebastian donned their coats, preparing to face the chilly morning air. As they left the warmth of their home, a small group of anxious siblings trailed behind them, united in their quest for understanding and hopefully earning back the celebration. The drive to their mother-in-law's was filled with the soft hum of the radio, providing a serenading backdrop to their thoughts. Isla's fingers tapped against her knees in rhythm with the music, betraying her nerves. As they pulled up to her house, a charming cottage nestled among sprawling oaks, a sense of urgency gripped them. The cobblestone path to the door seemed longer than usual, and Sebastian could feel his own heart beating in sync with Isla's steady determination. Finally, standing at the front door, Sebastian rang the bell, his siblings gathered behind them like a formidable but hopeful squad. As footsteps approached from within, he exchanged a glance with Isla, both of them bracing for what lay ahead. A moment later, the door swung open, revealing their mother-in-law with an unreadable expression. Behind her, the once vibrant decorations Isla had set up hung limply in the soft morning light. In that pause, the stage was set for revelations, understanding, and maybe, just maybe, a second chance at celebration. Understand. Certainly, I will provide a conclusion for the story that moves the readers to ponder the complexities of family relationships. Here's the last part. As I wrestled with the sudden disdain and unraveling of plans I had painstakingly put together, a realization dawned. Family dynamics are often a complex tapestry woven with threads of misunderstanding, unspoken grievances, and, sometimes, sheer willfulness. My attempt to bridge a gap, to perhaps forge an alliance through celebration, had been abruptly halted, not by a lack of love, but perhaps a lack of understanding on both sides. Perhaps, my husband's family hadn't come to terms with our differences, and maybe, I hadn't fully grasped theirs. In my heart, I hoped that time, the great healer, might bring with it clarity, softening hardened hearts and opening minds to accept and love unconditionally. As these thoughts raced through my mind, I comforted myself with the knowledge that I had motioned with good intentions. The road to connection may sometimes be rocky, veering off in unexpected directions, but it is a journey worth taking. While inclusion in my mother-in-law's grand milestone had veered off course, it wasn't the end of the path, just a detour. In this set of circumstances, I learned not only about others but also about myself. It's crucial to understand that while some bridges may falter, others may be built sturdier, given time and patience. It may take further attempts, open dialogue, and mutual recognition of differences to bring resolution. For now, I resolve not to dwell in resentment but to move forward with the motivation to create a harmonious family bond. Perhaps one day, what had been marred by previous tensions might become a testament to perseverance, understanding, and familial love. As you ponder over these intricate family dynamics, I invite you to reflect on your relationships and consider where bridges between hearts might be strengthened. Remember, it's never too late to reach out, to understand, and to offer love. If you've enjoyed this narrative and want to explore more stories about life's intricacies, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more engaging content.